Welcome back to Instables, everyone. So again, going over my daily plan on exactly how I plan on playing into the SPY. As you guys can see, again, sitting on anticipation from Nick Timiraos mentioning a possible Fed pivot. We did have our decrease in rates. And again, with Powell mentioning that unemployment is not exactly as high as he needed, we did have a sell-off. And so now we are sitting on an indecisive doji candle here. Where exactly may we be headed next? Again, with our increase in sell pressure, breaking below our previous sell pressure point, showing us that strength to the downside. Where exactly may we have a bounce? I'm going to go over exactly what we're looking for here. So jumping into the daily chart with you guys here on the SPY, again, just to recap on everything that's been happening. Again, we had our possible Fed pivot that was mentioned by Nick Timiraos, again, a Wall Street journalist that is a Fed watcher, mentioning that it is very likely that we have a possible Fed pivot. We had a nice rally for about the last month or so. And as you guys can see, again, when Powell mentioned that he wanted that decrease in inflation and that increase in unemployment, we did have our decrease in inflation, again, getting a decrease in CPI. We got another decrease in CPI, which we did have a spike on, but had a sell-off just after, as again, Powell mentioned the day after that we did not have unemployment exactly where we're looking for. So again, we needed that large increase in unemployment. We did not get that. Now we are sitting on a pullback from anticipation that we had on a possible Fed pivot. Before we had that possible Fed pivot, again, from Nick Timiraos mentioning that possible Fed pivot, we were on a sell-off here. So again, just keeping that in mind that we were on a sell-off and that we were headed to the lower end of our channel here. We did not get to that point because, again, Nick Timiraos mentioned that possible Fed pivot, but now we are losing that anticipation that we had, that we were looking for, again, with that large increase in unemployment that we do not have. So again, our question is, how much strength do we have here? What levels are we looking at? I would be looking at our VPVR. Again, this is our volume profile. As you guys can see, we had an exact bounce here at our 382 level, which is exactly where we do have the lower end of our largest peak that we were running into. So as you guys can see, sitting on a bounce, sitting on an indecisive doji candle here. And the next level that we'd be looking for, if we do continue on below our 380 level that we did have on a bounce on the lower end of our wick here, we would be looking to see if we can drop into our 365 level. Again, that is our next strongest point. So again, that is, again, our VPVR showing us the most amount of volume that was traded within this time period. And again, that is exactly what levels we're looking for. Now, as far as how much strength we have to the downside, as you guys can see, increasing in strength to the downside, this is exactly what begins to be a major sell-off. Typically, as you guys can see, again, we have our increases in sell pressure, we have a white shaded line come in, and then we have our increase in sell pressure, which typically does result in a continuation on lower. Now, again, this continuation on lower did happen when our EMA lines dropped below the median RMACD. Again, we mentioned that the largest rally of the year that we had prior was when we had our EMA lines crossing above the median RMACD. And again, mentioned in this very early, we had a nice rally. Now we are in a pullback, looking to see if our 12 and our 26 continue to point down here and do drop down below the median RMACD. That would give us that major sell-off. So again, keeping that in mind this week, that is the watch to see if our EMA lines will continue on below the median RMACD, or if we do get our 12 to cross back over our 26, we find support possibly, and then we do continue on higher, again, on that decrease in sell pressure. At this point in time, we are increasing in sell pressure, as you guys can see, with solid red bars coming out. We need, again, our white shaded lines to start to come in, and then that continuation on those white shaded lines. Again, we mentioned the very same thing happening here when we did have our increase in sell pressure, looking for that continuation with that decrease in sell pressure. And again, we had our divergence here again on the RSI, showing us how much further we could possibly continue on higher or lower. We did have our divergence, again, getting higher lows here on our RSI, as we did have, again, lower highs here on our price action, which gave us divergence. So now we are pointing down, being very careful to the upside. However, we are testing support here again with the doji candle. If we do open higher than 385, then we can possibly retest our 390 level. And the reason why I say that is because our 20-day moving average is still above our 50-day moving average, looking for that possible bearish candle setup from here. If we do come back and retest our 20, again, we could very much continue on with the bounce here, possibly continue on lower and look for that bearish candle setup with an engulfing candle, which will give us that continuation. And our target would again be here at 365 if we did get that bearish candle setup from here. So again, just keep that in mind. Again, prior we had our 20 crossing below our 50. We did not continue on below it. We did have a retest again here, and then we did cross finally below our 50 here, which gave us that continuation below our neckline. So again, that's exactly what we're looking for here. Very similar here to what we had prior. And as far as the largest indicator that we have been watching, again, the DXY, we're not going to look at price action as much here because, again, we're sitting on candles that are kind of bouncing on a pullback. What I would be looking for here is how much pressure we have, as you guys can see with our 12 crossing over our 26. Again, I mentioned a couple days ago that if we did cross back up here, then we can continue on with the bounce. Again, breaking above our previous buy pressure point, showing us that we are showing strength here on the dollar to the upside. So again, showing weakness on the SPY. So again, we do need to be careful here on the SPY, looking for, again, that possible retest from here will be the better play. If you're going to chase shorts intraday, then that's different, of course. But again, as far as swings, we want to see a retest on our 20 and look for that bearish candle setup if we're going to continue on lower. But if we're going to continue on higher, if we are looking for that possible bullish momentum, what we need to happen here is to have a quick turnaround, have our 20 cross back over our 50 and get that bullish candle set up. Again, not only breaking above like we did here, but also having that retest, pullback, and then that continuation with an engulfing candle to the upside to show that we are respecting the upper end of our channel. Again, making sure that we did avoid this for about the last month is exactly what we were focused on, because again, we got multiple rejections. And again, now getting that same rejection here. Need to be very careful after these gap downs that we recently had. Now, again, with that said, if you happen to be a day trader, if you're looking for those same day major breakouts that happen throughout the week, even when we have major pullbacks, we mentioned any news that we need to be looking at throughout the day for those possible major runners. We mentioned, again, 2.5 hours before market open, any breakout that is worth looking at throughout the day. We had a breakout almost every single day for as long as I remember now. And the market has been as crazy as it has been since we've been doing this for 2 years now in the Instables room. And again, just continuing to take what the market gives us, guys. And again, all of you Instables, I appreciate everybody that has been coming over and supporting the channel. Much love to every one of you guys. We're going to continue to take what the market gives us. Again, pre-market and morning rush is exactly what we'll continue to do. And again, if you guys do like this video, it does help the channel grow. And I do appreciate it very much. And again, God bless you all. And I'll see you guys in the next video.